Typically, I'm not a procrastinator, but as you can tell by the condition of these bookshelves, this is something that I have not done in a very long time. Today, I decided to finally tackle that project in what I thought was going to be maybe about an hour. It took me 6 total over a period of 2 days to get everything in this room clean and finished and put back together. Until recently, I had 3 dogs living here, so this room specifically got a little bit extra dirty because of 3 dogs sleeping in here. And honestly, I don't even remember the last time I dusted or cleaned in here other than just vacuuming and mopping the floor.
Push or pull, and I am going mad just like you knew I would. You're reading me like an open book. You know me better.
Because it had been so long since I've dusted these bookshelves, I knew that I was going to have to vacuum before I actually put some spray on here. Had I just started spraying and dusting to damp clean these shelves, would have been disastrous. It probably would have taken me 12 hours instead of 6. Remember earlier when I said it's been a while since I cleaned these shelves? This was from last year, 2021. Happy holidays. I mean, in hindsight, Halloween is coming up. Maybe I should have just left this for some decor. Just kidding. This is disgusting.
Leaving out the door and say I don't know when I'll be home. Like needles in my heart, it's tearing me apart. Just trying to find a light in the dark. I know that you're afraid. Believe me when I say it's alright.
I have quite a lot of these storage box things that look like books. On this shelf, I'm just using this one as a riser, but I have one in my room that I use to keep my contacts in. I have them in my office area that I use for office supplies, like little post-it notes and things like that. My daughter laughed at me when I made this art here to put in my little frame. I mean, art is subjective, but I personally kind of like it.
To be a way out of this place. Just gotta follow our tracks. Remember what you said.
You can really get a good look here of how dusty these shelves are. I mean, they're all pretty much this dusty, but this shelf was more empty because it just has glasses up here. But you can see if I would have sprayed spray on this, it would have just probably turned to mud.
This feeling I can see us working it out. You're all that matters to me. So hold on to me, baby, hold on. Put your hands into mine.
Back when I was a kid, my mom used to have this china across I guess like a plate shelf in our dining room. And then when I was an adult, I lived in the house that I grew up in, and all of this china was in a shelf in the garage. And I remember sitting in the living room one day and hearing like a huge crash. And I run out to the garage to find the entire shelf had fallen to the ground, and a 12-piece place setting of this china crashed to the floor. I wasn't super sad about it then, but knowing how expensive and how valuable this china is now makes me super sad. Like, I just can't even imagine a 12-piece place setting of this dainty blue china, how much that would cost today.
Two broken smiles, we're lost right now, so hold on.
This is that spot in my house where everything goes when it doesn't have a precise place to go. I don't have a junk drawer really, but this cabinet is where I put things to put away. So if I have something that belongs in the garage or that needs to be put away in a cabinet or a shelf or someplace else, I just go stick it over here on this countertop with the intent of putting it away later. And as you can see by the amount of clutter that was just cleaned off, I don't always follow through with that. Up until this point, I've been at home cleaning by myself, but I had this little rugrat get dropped off, so now I have a helper going through all the stuff that I'm relocating someplace else. She's 2, and I have absolutely no idea what she just said. When I look at bookshelf styling on Pinterest and I see a single vase sitting in the center of a shelf, I think, man, that's really pretty. But then I also think these things aren't necessarily sentimental value, or they haven't been collected over a 30-year time span. Like, for example, this. My daughter made this in 1994 for her dad. Now, I can't put that in a box someplace. I can't throw it away. I have to display it on a shelf. Where else would I put it? I'm sitting here wondering now what people do with all of this kind of stuff. Like these bottles I got at Dollar Tree. I could throw those out, I don't care. But that picture of bottles my daughter made in high school, that handprint, my daughter was 3 years old when she made that. And then of course the school picture for my granddaughter, which is more recently. If you don't have a 12-foot long wall of bookshelves like I do, what do you do with all that stuff? I'm sitting here laughing at myself as I'm watching myself pull these things off of the shelf. Like these shoes here, for example. I had my daughter's baby shoes bronzed. They were Reebok, that back in the 90s they called them Weebok. People don't do that anymore. So you don't have this kind of stuff to put on your stupid shelves like I do. Oh, I kill me sometimes.
I got it. Here.
Thank you, baby.
I'm fed up with your lies, so don't come closer. You know you hurt me bad and I have scars. I need some time to heal, so don't come over. Don't even bother calling, just get lost. I'm fine on my own, so no.
This little corner of these shelves is dedicated to my granddaughter's slime station and all of her little projects that she gets at Five Below and stuff like that for making bracelets or sand art or whatever. And then I found this bottle of glitter that it has just a screw off top, and I'm thinking, man, this is a disaster. So I'm going to put it inside of another container to make sure that the little 2-year-old running around does not get a hold of this container of glitter. While I'm putting the glitter away to make sure the 2-year-old doesn't get it, I spill it. The top is not on it completely. It dumps all over inside of here, all over the floor. Like, I'm thinking to myself, this is a disaster waiting to happen, and the disaster is me.
I'm not the one who's calling, I'm
I've lived in this house almost 6 years, and this printer has been sitting on this shelf, not plugged in, the entire time I've lived here. I've never used it a single time, so I'm using this as an opportunity to declutter and get rid of it.
You think that my bed's getting cold, but it's feeling warm. Your lies are getting old.
Speaking of decluttering, I found 8 sets of these battery-operated fairy lights in this bin. Like, why? I mean, I didn't declutter them. I put them away with the other sets of fairy lights. So I think I have a total of like 10 or 12 in that drawer behind me. I'm gonna have to like search on Pinterest or something for DIY projects with fairy lights now.
Lies are getting old. All those late nights I waited for you, they're gone 'cause we are through. All those late nights I waited for you. Here's what I like. Laying on the beach with sunlight in my eyes, laughing with my friends under the sky, following our hearts so then we take a ride. Wherever, I always try to let my spirit fly, fly away. That's the only way to get that high, high, always. If you're looking for trouble,
this game in the round cylinder that I'm about to move over here is called Pente. I used to play this with my mom when I was a teenager back in the 80s. This particular one has like a little leather rolled up playing board, and there's little gems that you use for your pieces, and the object of the game is to get 4 pieces in a row before the other person either captures yours or they get 4 in a row.
Tonight I'll reach out and touch the
In this corner over here, I usually have a rolling cart with scrapbooking supplies because I don't really have any place else for it. As you can tell, I don't really clean back here very often.
go crazy now, gonna make this all count. Feeling like a rock star 'cause tonight
Now that I have all of the bookshelves clean from top to bottom, I'm done for the day, and I'm going to leave this mess for tomorrow.
movies, feeling like I'm James Dean and I know it. Feeling like feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star.
Today's portion of this project is going to be me cleaning everything out of this room to replace this rug. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you know my daughter was staying with me for a little while, and during that time her dog tore up a few of my things in this room, like my rug, the arm of this chair, some things outside, and whatever she could get her little paws on. But now that they're gone and I don't have to worry about my rug getting chewed on anymore, I bought a new one, so we're going to be laying that down today.
If I could go back and make things right, I would have it undone. No, I hurt you. Yeah, I was blind. The blame is mine. Yeah, I feel the weight on my shoulders. Know that I regret it. Hope I can repay you for what I've done. Know that I regret it. Hope we find a way.
This is that rolling cart I told you about that goes in that corner where the spider webs were. I also don't think I have scrapbooked a single time in 6 years. Not once. My dogs always lose their toys underneath of this armoire thing, and occasionally I'll lay down on this floor and stick my arm under there, but these had gotten moved to the back so far that I didn't notice they were there. So as soon as I started moving it, she saw the ball and she was like, oh, that's mine. And then she comes back for something else. She's like, that's mine. And now that everything is picked up, they've got to walk through here, check, make sure, nope, everything's gone. Okay, you're good. Go ahead and vacuum. There are 2 sets of these blinds on either side of this armoire, and they were filthy. This process took me probably longer than it did for me to finish this entire room, because not only did I have to vacuum these blinds, once I was done vacuuming I realized they're still pretty filthy. So I then went in with a wet cloth and I had to do both sides with a wet cloth after vacuuming both sides. I definitely feel much better knowing that this is done now and will not wait an entire year before I do it again. I'm fairly certain that you're probably not questioning how filthy this room is at this point, but here's a little insert just so you can see for yourself how dirty those blinds were. Okay, now we're going to speed this up and I'm going to clear this room out so that I can take out the old carpet and put in the new one. Now, I know there's a newer version of this O-Cedar spin mop, but I never really felt the need to buy it because in my mind, when you're putting the dirty mop back into the clean water, what's the point in having those 2 separate bins? Because you're still mopping your dirty floor and then taking the dirty mop and putting it in the clean water. I guess the only difference is the water that gets wrung out is going into a separate container so the dirty water doesn't go back into the clean water. I don't know, maybe I just answered my own question, but I'm just going to keep mopping with the same dirty mop water. I don't care. I just went to my Amazon order so I could get a link to this rug and put it in the description box below. So if you're interested in a good quality rug on the cheap, I'm going to link it for you and we're going to give it a good vacuum before I start moving all the furniture back in. I mean, it wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't say how much I hate this chair in every single scene that you see this video. I hate this chair. So I bought a cover for it, and to keep the cover on in place because the dogs sleep in this chair, I use a pool noodle cut in half long ways down the side so that it sticks in the cracks and holds the cover on and it doesn't come loose.
Caught me off my guard, 'cause you're in my space and now I'm so.
If you made it this far into the video, you are the real MVP. Please take a minute to like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you next week.